Welcome. You are listening to the Play Big Queen podcast. This is for you if you are a woman who is an entrepreneur, business owner, professional, leader, or someone who is deeply committed to personal growth, self-improvement, transformation, and living authentically. This is especially for you if you have an invisible disability, whether you are diagnosed, undiagnosed, self-diagnosed, or late diagnosed, and you are working on reclaiming your neurodivergent identity, rebuilding confidence, learning what works for your unique brilliance while breaking free from small people-pleasing conditioning. If you are a visionary change maker interested in advancing your leadership and creating success on your terms, and you want to leave a legacy, if you are navigating disability or neurodiversity as an individual or as an ally, and you are looking for a supportive and inclusive environment to thrive, then this is for you. I am your hostess, Kate Bailey. I am the Play Big Queen. My name is my title and a command for all women. Play Big Queen. I invite you to claim this title for yourself and coronate your Play Big self too, if it serves you. I am a business and embodiment mentor working with women who are ready to rise the fuck up and be your bold, beautiful, sexy ass self, start and grow your big, bold vision, and claim that you too get to have your boldest desires. I am the creatrix of Kate Bailey LLC, which provides coaching services, educational courses, products, and experiences that promote success in neurodiversity advocacy, women's empowerment, embodiment, entrepreneurship, and business to serve women on their transformational journey. To learn more about my company offerings and to get on my email list, go to xxxkatebailey.com. If you would like to learn more about my work, my personal values, my mission, and my community, make sure you catch the last 5 minutes of this episode to go deeper and learn so much more. On this podcast, sometimes we will have guests. Sometimes I'll do solo episodes, but every single time you listen, you will expand. So get ready. It's a new era for women on the Play Big path. Long may we reign. Hi, gorgeous. Welcome to the Play Big Queen podcast, where we dive deep into confidence, embodiment, and entrepreneurship for neurodivergent women and women with invisible disabilities who are ready to own their brilliance and thrive on their terms. I'm Kate Bailey, your hostess, mentor, and advocate. Today, we're talking about something that's both controversial and groundbreaking: AI-generated images for personal business branding. Are AI photos just another tool in the entrepreneur's toolbox, or are they contributing to a fake culture? And more importantly, how can tools like AI help neurodivergent and disabled entrepreneurs level the playing field in a competitive marketplace that operates in a neurotypical time zone? So let's dive in. Not everyone knows this about me, but I have what Liam Neeson would call a very particular set of skills. My background in medicine, photography, and design has shaped how I view branding and image creation. I've worked in emergency medicine and at a dermatology office, which specialized in both necessary and elective cosmetic procedures and in every stage of photography production, pre-production and post-production. I've designed Botox muscle injection group charts. I've restored and rebuilt historical photos. And at one point, I was the go-to for photo retouching. I was like the nip tuck of photos, and saw nip tucks in real life for a variety of reasons, ranging from cosmetic to cancer. I've also seen so many human bodies in so many different states. Some of my favorite games to secretly play: Guess What She's On and Guess What She Did. And I play these games with zero judgment, and I'm really good at it. With about 90% accuracy, I can tell if someone is using a substance and spot the drink or drug responsible for someone's intoxication. The same goes for photos and bodies. I can tell if you're swollen because you're ovulating or if it's edema from heart issues. I can spot the Restylane injections, the muscle groups you shot your Botox into, and every type of lip filler. When it comes to photos, I can see how the exposure and lighting was adjusted for your skin tone, highlights and shadows were manipulated, and how airbrushing, color correction, white balancing, and filters were applied. I notice hair dye, teeth whitening, staged or superimposed backgrounds, expertly chosen wardrobes to flatter problem areas, and even the permits likely needed for that dreamy office background location you've never actually worked in. It's all very obvious to me, and maybe some of it is obvious to you. And again, I seriously and absolutely have zero judgments. But if you have any of that in your photos, you have manipulated yourself. And you have been replaced by a more marketable version of yourself. And here's the thing. Even though those manipulated images aren't real, they're not necessarily fake either. They're marketing. Here's the truth. Everyone is filtering, curating, and editing their photos. Even the people who are posting raw or real images are making intentional choices. They're choosing the most flattering angles, expressions, and settings. They're posting at an angle that gives them a double chin instead of a triple chin. They're slathering on natural makeup and wearing jewelry with meaning in perfectly imperfect poses and angles with medium-framed, forward-facing shots designed to create a false sense of emotional intimacy with their audience after they got their brows done or cleared the sleep crust from their eyes. Every detail is intentional, whether they are conscious of it or not. And many of those real, raw, and naked photos also come with the privilege of regular facials, spa treatments, chemical peels, high-quality products, or the privilege of nutritional or wellness education, or simply good genetics. The reality? Everyone is marketing, everyone is peacocking, everyone is preparing images in some way to some degree, myself included. And the very rare few that are 100% not are super rare or super on brand. Why? Facts are good images help businesses thrive. Now, what is good is relative, but regardless, good images for your brand are good for business. It is also so important for people to understand nuances, right? And that confidence comes down to trusting yourself and knowing that your reasons for why you do things are not contingent on trying to please or satisfy others. And also, people have different thresholds for what they consider being quote unquote real or what they consider authentic expression, and what gives true confidence is highly subjective person to person. Same with authentic marketing. It is subjective to the person and to the audience. And whether it's putting food on the table or simply getting off on being seen, marketing is part of the game. And there is so much value in having polished, high-quality images that help you stand out and grow your business. I mean, you do put effort into getting ready for a first date, don't you? You pick out a good picture for your Tinder profile, or like you put just the right amount of effort into looking effortlessly cool or beautiful for your first impression. Of course you do, because we know first impressions matter. They matter for relationships, and business and sales are all about relationships. Now, are there scammy coaches out there using flashy branding and manipulative marketing? Absolutely. There are a lot of scam coaches out there who also tell you that you have a non-existent problem, and then they preach that they have the solutions for thousands of dollars and claim to be prophets while leveraging magician archetype style branding and behavioral digital marketing. So we've got all that in the personal brand business and coaching industry. So why is AI-generated imagery causing so much debate? Because it's new, it's disruptive, and for some, it's uncomfortable to see this technology creating more accessibility in spaces traditionally reserved for the privileged. Now, I truly appreciate the perspectives and share a lot of people's valid concerns in regards to photographers who have small businesses, big tech, and environmental impacts of AI. I will say, having worked in freelance photography at one point, the issue of needing to grow with technology as a photographer who has a small business is not new. Portrait photographers felt the sting of people using post-production tools like Photoshop and Lightroom during those earlier waves of digital photography evolution, and they will feel it again with AI, and they will have to adapt. Being aware of industry changes in your field and adapting or digging in your heels and taking a stance comes with working the industry. But the fact is that people with different privileges, more specifically economic and physical or mental privileges, affect different people's abilities to take advantage of photography services. Sensory challenges with lighting and sound, for example, or challenges with autistic traits like being perceived or sitting still with ADHD, or physical challenges traveling or holding different poses, are just a microcosm of all the examples that make photographs challenging for some people that most able-bodied people don't have to think about. And economically speaking, although not all photographers are high ticket, specifically brand photographers for your personal brand business can be pricey. There are also big issues with big tech. And it's also a very complicated relationship between giants like big tech, big health, and big pharma and the disability community for those who depend on technology for everything from access to education to walking or being able to hear. AI also takes a terrible toll on the environment, and personally, I would love to see this process evolve into being more environmentally responsible. As it pertains to photography specifically, an argument could be made for all the waste that goes into a properly branded professional photo shoot. Everything from jet fuel to fly to location to chemicals used for old school photo development to the sprays used in hair and makeup and the empty plastic water bottles left behind from production crews. While AI tools can democratize access for some, I agree that it doesn't negate the need to support small businesses and real artists and to think about the environment. But I think instead of seeing AI as a replacement, we see it as a complementary tool that can have so many benefits. At its core, this conversation and discourse about AI and photography is about balance. Supporting real people and small businesses doesn't have to mean rejecting technology outright, especially technology that majorly impacts disability communities in a way that increases their inclusivity. But we do need to do the work to demand accountability and equity from AI developers and the systems that profit from it. But let's switch gears for a moment and talk about why AI-generated photos can be a game changer for neurodivergent and disabled entrepreneurs in the personal branding and coaching spaces. Accessibility and affordability is a big one. Professional photo shoots can cost thousands of dollars. AI tools allow entrepreneurs with limited budgets to create stunning image assets without having to sacrifice quality. Then we have the argument of energy management. Photo shoots can be exhausting, especially for neurodivergent or disabled folks managing sensory sensitivities or energy fluctuations. AI lets you create polished images without the stress of long, overstimulating days. Then there's the topic of creative freedom. ADHD brains are very innovative and love experimenting. AI tools allow us to play with colors, styles, and aesthetics until we get to create something that truly reflects our brand's vibe. And one of the biggest game changers for using AI with branded photo shoots is we have an opportunity to level the playing field. Personal branding is a form of social currency. AI tools allow entrepreneurs without appearance, financial, or geographic privilege to compete in a marketplace that often prioritizes these factors. And again, like using any other tools, AI should be used responsibly. Here's how I think AI could be used responsibly. Authenticity. Now, it might sound like an oxymoron to be authentic with AI, but don't use AI to create a completely false version of yourself. Use it to enhance who you already are. In the same way that we already use photo manipulation, editing, and filters right now, use it to enhance who you already are. Transparency. Be open with your audience about the tools you're using. If you're using AI images, share that process. That transparency builds trust and shows others what's possible. Then there's the issue of inclusivity. AI is an opportunity to bridge gaps in accessibility. When used thoughtfully, it empowers underrepresented entrepreneurs to shine in spaces that have historically excluded them. And if you're new to AI imaging, I recommend working with someone who really knows the technology. My friend Deborah McDaniel has been leading the charge in personal AI branding, and she recommended Flux Laura for realistic portraits. It's worth looking into if you want to create images that are polished yet real, that have realistic hands, and where you don't end up with like a third eye. And just like photography, you can leave it up to the experts. You can work with new AI artists emerging who have knowledge of different technologies and how to minimize training your AI and the amount of prompts that they use and how it affects the environment. You don't have to figure it out all yourself, but you do have to be aware of what goes into AI photo production. But to summarize my stance, I think if ethical, heart-centered coaches and personal brand businesses become more visible and competitive through AI photos, I'm here for it. The key, though, AI photos must be used artfully, ethically, and responsibly. Using it responsibly can paradoxically create the social evolution that I think will likely lead us to getting more real in actuality. It could lead to greater transparency about our images. When these tools help bridge the gaps in accessibility and equity, especially when it allows disabled and disenfranchised entrepreneurs to compete in the marketplace, that's a responsible and ethical use of technology. Image assets are a form of wealth. High-quality personal marketing images should be accessible to everyone, not just a privileged few. And if this episode truly rubs you the wrong way, I want to invite you to ask yourself, why wouldn't I want talented, hardworking people to have the same access to resources that I do? And before we close out this episode, I want to leave you with something to chew on further. It is a fact that there is privilege. Privileges refer to unearned advantages or rights that individuals or groups have because of their membership in a particular social category. These privileges can manifest in different ways and across different domains of life. There is social or racial privilege, appearance privilege, intellectual privilege, economic privilege, educational privilege. There's gender privilege, heterosexual privilege, physical and mental health privileges, geographic privilege, technological privilege, linguistic privilege, age privilege, class privilege, parental or familial privilege, professional privilege. There's historical or generational privilege, social privileges, citizenship privilege, and there's also the privilege of leveraging your own cultural capital. My invitation to you is to think about which privileges and cultural capitals do you leverage in your business, intentionally or unintentionally, and why? Which do you wish you could leverage, but can't because of systemic inequities? It's okay to acknowledge where we are privileged. It's part of being honest with ourselves, and tools like AI give us a chance to address inequities in the marketplace, even if only a little. That's what I got to say on this for today, gorgeous. AI images aren't just a trend. They can be a tool for empowerment and equity when used ethically. Whether you're navigating challenges of ADHD, neurodivergence, or systemic barriers, remember, you deserve to show up in your full brilliance too. If this episode sparks something in you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget, I'm on social media, and I started the conversation about AI on my Facebook page. You can feel free to comment on YouTube or send me an email at info@playbigqueen.com. And don't forget, you get to be in your autonomy and authority, and you get to decide where your values are in all of this AI talk and where your ethics are when it comes to marketing and AI. Stay open to learning more about the conversation and also decide for yourself what's right and true. Until next time, keep playing big and keep being yourself unapologetically. If today's episode resonated with you, I have a free resource to help you embody more confidence as you build the big vision for your life and business, and to help you boldly claim your unique brilliance. Head to playbigqueen.com and grab your free confidence and embodiment exercises today. Until next week, keep showing up, keep playing big, and keep claiming your brilliance. Okay, that's it for this episode of the Play Big Queen podcast. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. As always, eat the fruit, spit out the seeds, take what nourished you, keep what resonated for you, and leave the rest, because ultimately, you know best. This episode is over until next time, but we can keep this thing going. Go to xxxkatebailey.com, scroll to the bottom where it says join our community, and get on the email list to get all the juicy details about all my offerings and where Play Big Queens play together online, on social media, and in person. We've got a tight community of women claiming their boldest desires, celebrating wins, playing all out, fiercely standing for each other, and going higher together. Go to xxxkatebailey.com, put in your email address, and confirm your subscription. Once you're in, you'll get all the juicy guides, tips, and inspirations, and you get notified first about all the offers we have for all the big stuff we're doing over here. Go to xxxkatebailey.com to stay in the loop. That's xxxkatebailey.com. BAILEY.com. If you like what you heard in this podcast, subscribe, share it with your friends. And if you got something from this, I would appreciate some reviews and ratings. When you take the time to review the podcast, it helps our podcast get out to more women who need it. If you haven't already, head over to iTunes and Spotify and show Play Big Queen some love. Also, I want you to know that my door is always open and I will always make space for you to be heard and to honor your experience. The views expressed in this podcast are through the lens of my personal identity and my own lived experience. I am a European mix, Mediterranean mutt who is an Italian, Sicilian, cis heterosexual woman born in New York, experiencing the world in a white body as a multiply neurodivergent who lives in a neurodiverse and racially blended family. And like everyone else, my one single perspective comes with its own limitations. I have done personal and professional work around anti-racism, diversity, equity, equality, and inclusion. I am not a therapist or doctor, and any coaching or advice cannot take the place of professional medical, mental health, or healing help. However, that being said, what happens in my work is often a very powerful, additional, supplemental, or alternative way to heal around identity work, mindset, and emotional wellness. Although I am not a licensed therapist, it is worth noting that in addition to being a mentor, I am trained and certified in emergency medicine and response. I have rendered care to over 20,000 patients in the course of my career. I have taught over 15,000 students, many of which had learning disabilities that were undiagnosed and came from diverse cultural backgrounds. I was also a private health college adjunct professor who was responsible for training medical professionals on how to respond to trauma and behavioral emergencies. If you approach me with any concern, you will be met with professionalism, compassion, tact, understanding, support, and a readiness and a willingness to advocate for your needs. That being said, sometimes I just get it wrong. I am a human being on my own growth journey after all. When I mess up, I'm always available for a courageous and crucial conversation that makes way for growth and healing. Your experience and voice matters to me. I sincerely welcome any feedback you feel called to share. You can email your comments or concerns to info@playbigqueen.com, knowing that I am open to having any and all crucial conversations needed. Okay, remember, you are brilliant. Celebrate yourself, value your own unique way, and honor your own timing. Because you can totally create a life and business that feels good and is successful on your terms. Remember to release expectations of what you think your play big process should look like, and be willing to do the work that needs to be done to play big. But most of all, when you come face to face with your boldest desires, remember to trust yourself and play big, Queen. Hi, Queen. I see you're in it for the long game. If you reach this part of the podcast episode, it means you're interested in learning more about my work, my values, my mission, and my community. So let's go deeper together. I am here to activate neurodivergent women to play bigger and to show you that you are so capable of doing big things, and that if you value your own unique way and honor your own timing, you will learn to receive your boldest desires and so much more. In my world, what makes you different is valued, celebrated, honored, and welcome. I welcome all who identify as female and non-binary folk in my Play Big Queens community. We believe in and support LGBTQIA+2S, Black Lives Matter, women's and pro-choice rights, and obviously intersectional identities, including disabilities, neurodivergence, and religious beliefs. Personally, I am pro-sex worker rights, pro-Palestinian liberation, against Islamophobia, and against anti-Semitism, and I'm also against any cult-like religions that use beliefs as an excuse to indoctrinate people into abusive, autocratic systems. Like many neurodivergent people, we have big hearts and a strong sense of social justice around here. You are encouraged to stay and play in our Play Big Queen community if you share these values. For those who find the word queen does not resonate, perhaps because of imperial associations, the Play Big self archetype can take any form, and the invitation and activation remains the same. To learn to embody your Play Big self, to operate from love instead of fear, to go on a play big journey in community because you know that no play big queen can truly play big alone. To decide to cultivate the courage to use your voice, unmask, reclaim, embrace, and embody your brilliance, and create a life and business that works with the unique way that you work. Through this work, you will come to know the truth of your brilliance deeply. And as you come to know your authentic self, more and more will begin to open up for you. Knowing your unique brilliance will lead to great success and true belonging. In this world, we take the pressure off and learn to step off the traditional path so you can blaze your own trail. My mission is to get you motivated, inspired, and equipped to get into massive action and go on your very own Play Big journey. My mission is to empower at least 10,000 women to fully step into their Play Big self by offering healing, transformative, inclusive, and neurodiverse affirming coaching and content. Through innovative coaching programs, courses, and masterclasses, we provide the tools, support, sustainability, and community needed to help each woman embrace her unique path to confidence, success, and meaningful impact. If just 10,000 women with invisible disabilities and their allies were empowered with neurodiverse affirming and inclusive communication to express their unique brilliance, step into their authority and autonomy, and lead, the world would experience a profound shift towards inclusivity, innovation, and empathy. These women would break through societal limitations, modeling resilience, creativity, and strength of diversity. Their voices and perspectives, often shaped by unique experiences with challenges and perseverance, would redefine business leadership, inspire systemic change, and create spaces where diverse ways of thinking are not just accepted, but celebrated. Industries and communities would become more accessible and inclusive with practices that honor varied ways of working, communicating, and achieving. This change would ripple into every area of life and society. Workplaces would become more adaptable, offering a culture of respect for individual strengths. Healthcare and education systems would improve, centering accessibility and compassion in their approaches, and policies would evolve to better support those with invisible challenges, benefiting society as a whole. So many women with so much potential are shrinking in the face of their own brilliance, just sitting on the sidelines waiting for permission instead of getting in the game. The activation of the latent potential in these women, their empowerment, making them visible, would inspire others, reduce stigma around invisible disabilities, and encourage everyone to lead authentically. Their successes will light the way for countless more women to rise, creating a culture of true diversity where every person feels valued, included, and emboldened to contribute their brilliance and lead with it. If you know you are ready for more clarity, confidence, and you want to embody your Play Big self and be supported around creating the big vision for your life and business, then send me an email at info@playbigqueen.com telling me why this work is so important for you, and we can explore opportunities to work together and make your Play Big dreams a reality.